Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are going to be doing something rather interesting. See, we are going to be getting back to the One Piece anime next week, but this week, because there is no One Piece anime, and because, Netflix fucked over JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run, there's not really a reaction, like a normal weekly reaction we have for this week. And so I've decided to kind of replace that and to hype up the return of the One Piece anime with a One Piece Devil Fruit ranking. We've done a lot of tier lists on this channel, a lot of them being smash or pass videos, but today we're actually going to be ranking devil fruits. And these are all the known devil fruits in the manga and anime, um, up to chapter 1053. So there's 209 devil fruits in here. I think the only ones missing are like there's a couple that are shown in Egghead. But I can just like mention by the end if I remember where they would be. And honestly, we don't really know enough about the devil fruits that debuted in Egghead, especially with the Gorosei, to really rank them, to like really like put them into a ranking yet. We just have like the bare minimum information on them. And so, yeah. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, these do appear to be in alphabetical order, but there are going to be like devil fruits here that I just don't remember. It's obviously sorted by character, and um some of these are going to be based around um filler as well. So I'm going to see if I can try to bring up on my phone here a list of all devil fruits. All known devil fruit. How about eaters? Let's go with that. Users works. And these should be in order. The One Piece wiki has them sorted by like types, and that doesn't actually help me. It like gives like these broken down categories like Paramecia, Zoan, Logia, animals with devil fruit abilities. It's like just give me a regular ass list. It's like Jesus. Then there's this list here. This gives them in order of, I guess, debut? This doesn't seem like too caught up though, because there's only 144 here. This is from a couple years ago. It's on Reddit, and it's again, it's not in alphabetical order like this list is. Let me see if I put alphabetical order in the search. Still not helping. Yeah, most of what I'm seeing is order of appearance, which doesn't help me here. So I just might not be able to do this. I might not be able to have a list here. If I go to one of these categories on the wiki, it's probably in alphabetical order at that point. Yeah. But the problem is not all of them also show images, so I don't know. If I can't remember a devil fruit or its user here, I'm just probably gonna skip them. But let's get this started. So we are gonna re-ranking these according to, like, I guess how much I would want the devil fruit, which I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat is gonna be more akin to practicality than the likes of rule of cool. So it's like, I'll just give an example. It's like something like a Kanu's devil fruit would be more along the lines of rule of cool than actual having any actual practical use. And so it's like that would be low for me. And we'll get to that when we get to that. And I don't see that listed under A on here, so that's probably an S for Sakazuki. But our rankings are S, A, B, C, D, and don't remember. I'm actually going to change D real quick to F because a lot of these rankings don't usually include a D. Um, though taking out the D is also funny because of One Piece, but I think unless I just want to add, let me just add an F. Maybe that'll be better. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Add a row below, and then edit that one I just added. F. There. Now we have F added in. Okay, so S, A, B, C, D, F, and don't remember. So, yeah, there's going to be quite a few in here that are don't remembers, or I might try to look them up if I do remember the character, but don't remember the devil fruit. Anyway, Absalom. We'll start with him. He has the invisible devil fruit. He's an F. I've talked about this before, but invisibility is almost impossible to use for actual, like, practical good. Especially in a, like, everyday world. The idea of invisibility is, like, almost entirely a villain power. Like, the only practical good you could use for it would be literally in the scope of a fight against evil. That's it. A fight against the bad guy using your invisibility to hide yourself to be able to, like, do a sneak attack. That's literally it. It's not practical otherwise. All its other uses are used for bad things, and it's just bad. Like, even Sanji, who is a generally good character, even said that his entire goal for getting the fruit was, to sexually assault women. So, even a character who's generally seen as a good person sees the fruit as nothing more than a tool for evil. Now, the next character on here, I can tell you right away, I don't remember who that is. I know his face. I could not tell you where from the series he's in or what his devil fruit is. Same with the character after that. But then you have this guy. This guy is from the filler arc directly after Zoe. And I can't remember his name, but I think he's a Paramecia type. So let me check the A's. Now, I'm not seeing anything in A for him. But he would still be an A because there's Alvida there. But I know he's not a Logia, and I know he's not. I don't think the One Piece Wiki's going to help me. Especially since he's non-canon. Actually, hold on. I wasn't looking at the non-canon section. There is actually a section for non-canon. It's probably in there. Because he's, nope. There's no A. This is, the wiki is terrible. post-Zoe filler arc. One Piece. Marine rookie arc. Yeah, but who's the character in it? Marine rookie arc. Because this guy, here, I'll try to scroll down a little. This guy here is like kind of the main antagonist of the Marine rookie arc. They're infiltrating a Marine base, and Carrot, Luffy, they wear like the Marine outfits and everything. It's a cute little filler arc. But I can't remember this guy's name for the life of me. Grount? Is that it? Yes, All Hunt Grount. That is it. Okay, so what's his Devil Fruit ability? So sorry for some of this taking a while. It's like I have to find some of these. Oh, it's a Zoan. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, because it only affects his left arm, which becomes monstrously large with red fur and claws. That's what it was. He gets an animal arm. He doesn't have like a full beast form. I think that's okay. In that case, so he gets a beast arm. I don't really see a huge practical use for that. Like, it obviously comes with increased strength and everything, and like claws, but it's better than something like Absalom. So I'll put it in D, but it's still low. Now Alpaca Man. I don't know who the just actual alpaca is offhand, but Alpaca Man is a smile fruit. So we're including smiles in devil fruits here. Alpaca Man's smile fruit turns him into an alpaca, complete with the spitting, complete with the look and everything. Zoan devil fruits are hard to classify by practicality because, like, for the most case, I don't think they're going to be super practical for a number of reasons. I guess it just depends on the animal. In terms of an alpaca, it's like the only thing really that's notable there is the long neck and everything, and it doesn't really add anything. So I'm going to put you in the D tier, and I'm going to put you under Grount, because Grount's arm at least has the strength factor that could help with certain situations. Alvida's Slip fruit. The Slip fruit is an interesting one because it absolutely could be helpful in certain situations. It could be helpful for maneuverability. But there's also the fact that the Slip fruit it isn't really super controllable. Like, you're just slippery. And that could make it difficult to do a lot of things and to move around in a lot of ways without using your devil fruit power. It's not really something that Alvida actively uses. It's just something that she always is. She's just slippery. Her skin is just slippery. And although, like, because of Oda's, like, desire not to draw, like, every character naked, he's pretty much made it so that all devil fruits do affect the user's clothes and stuff. I guess putting on clothes is easy enough that way. I guess with this fruit, it would just make it so that the clothes aren't affected by the slipping somehow. Which explains how she, still wears all her clothes and has no trouble with that, but slips on anything, literally anything else. I feel like this fruit is like a kind of a double-edged sword. Again, there's some maneuverability possibilities with it, but the weaknesses just seem like too much, personally. I'm going to put her underground and above Alpaca Man. So here's another character I just don't recognize. I don't know if that's a filler character or a movie character or something else, but next we have Alpus. So Alpus is from an early filler arc in the East Blue. This is, I believe, between Logetown and Reverse Mountain. Alpus has the ability to talk to animals. Most notably, dragons, as we see, because that's the focus of the arc. Alpus's ability to talk to animals is actually super practical for a number of reasons. Being able to not just talk to your pet to know what they need at any given time, to know if they're like in pain or like whatever else. Being able to talk to wild animals, maybe even getting to like control them to some degree. Well, not really control, but get them on your side and get them to help you out to some degree. Could be super useful. It's not the most useful, but I think a B tier is actually pretty valid for Alpus's power. I don't know this guy's name, but I believe this is the train guy from Whole Cake Island. I believe that this is the guy who is basically just a train, which again has maneuverability bonuses. It's good in that regard. It's dorky as fuck, but it is practical to a degree. I think a C tier. I think a C tier. Babanuki turns partially into an elephant because he's, a smile eater. There's not a huge amount of there's not a huge amount of practicality to that. So I feel like a lot of the smile eaters are probably going to be D. I'll put him under Alpaca Man. It's like there's the thing about the elephant being able to shoot stuff out, but it's like It's like, what use would that really have in real life? Next we have Baby 5, being able to turn any part of her body into any weapon. I mean, it's useful for protecting yourself if you're, like, being harassed or something, but outside of that, what do you need it for? I guess if you could turn any part of your body into any weapon, you could turn, like, your hands into knives, and that could be helpful for, like, cutting food and stuff and things like that. But honestly, it's like if you're at your home, you're going to have those kind of tools usually anyway. So it's like it's practical, but it doesn't really it's not really necessary. It's a kind of thing where it's like it's only useful in certain contexts. And it's only weapons specifically. It's not like other tools either. I guess it just kind of comes down to like almost what do you consider a weapon? Because in that case, you could use almost anything, really. But I think it's more like guns and swords and knives and clubs and stuff like that, bombs. So it's like because of that, because I feel like there's not a huge amount of practical use, I'm gonna put her in C. There's some, but there could be better. Next we have Baccarat, and Baccarat is from Film Gold. She has the power to basically affect a person's luck. Again, unless you're like wanting to cheat at a casino, what is the practicality of that? I guess you can increase luck in various other like ways. Like, oh, I want my I want my trapezius injury to heal faster. So it's like maybe I'll get lucky and have that happen. Maybe that kind of thing. But it's like there has to be a certain limit to that and how luck works, because it's like otherwise you're just confusing luck with probability, and it's like at that point it's like what do you really consider here? So I don't know. I just don't feel like it's going to be the most practical. I feel like we'll put her at the top of D tier for now. I don't remember your name, but you have the oh god, what is it? The flying squirrel smile fruit. Because you're at Wano. You're kind of like you're able to talk through these I don't know. I actually don't know if that's a devil fruit thing. Maybe it's just the flying squirrel aspect, but she is able to talk through these other like little um monitor animals and stuff, but I think that might just be her mask, her paper mask. I don't think that actually has anything to do with her devil fruit. And because of that, because it's just basically flying squirrel shit, that's another one in the smile. I'll put that above Alpaca Man though, because the flying ability, even if it's more just hovering, has at least some practicality. Next we have Kuma, Bartholomew Kuma. His ability is the Paw Paw fruit, which has various effects. It can send yourself or others long distances. It can pretty much to wherever you want as well. It can extract pain, which right now would be great. I still have pain going on, so that would be wonderful. And things like that. Able to bounce off attacks with it. So there is some practicality, but like in an everyday kind of situation, I feel like there's not too much outside of like getting rid of your pain. But the problem is with his fruit is like you have to give your pain to something, to another living being. Otherwise, it just comes back to you. So it's like it only be temporary relief. And then at that point, it's like, how good is that really helping? Because if you don't give your pain to someone else, that's like not that great. And if you give your pain to someone else, that's not that great because you're hurting someone else. So it's like, I think I can only put this as high as C, and I'll put it above Baby 5. It's like there's some practical use for it, but there's some downsides that really hurt it as well. Now, Barto has the shields. He has his barrier fruit, or Bari Bari no Mi, which basically is whenever he crosses his fingers, he can create a barrier. Um, the barrier can be reshaped. It doesn't have to be just a solid barrier in front of him blocking attacks. It can be used to create stairs. It can be used to create an entire bubble around him. It can be like formed pretty much in any way he wants, which does have practical uses. Um, the Berry no Mi could be used for a lot of different things, holding things up, even grabbing things if you want to shape it into like a grabber. I don't know what else to call it, like a little like arm grabber thing. Um, it absolutely would have probably the most practical uses of anything we've come across so far. And so I'm going to put that as a high B. I don't think that's quite A tier. I think A tier should be reserved for the stuff that's like really everyday practical, but I think the Berry no Mi would be super practical. Basil Hawkins Devil Fruit is very much centered around basically hurting others to not have pain yourself, using others as straw men and everything, and on top of like having the big straw man. And it's just like it's not really practical in any way. There's not really any like real positive use to it. So I'm gonna put Basil Hawkins in D tier. I think he's gonna go just above, just below Alvita actually. Um, Let me pin these real quick. So next we have Batman. He's another smile fruit guy, but he goes a little bit above because he does have flight and supersonic hearing and stuff. So actually, he has a little bit more practicality than a lot of the others in the D tier, but I still don't think he's like super practical. I'll put him at the top of D tier though. This guy, I believe, is the guy who turns himself into berries. Not really practical at all. Um, it's just, honestly, that's probably an F tier. I don't recognize who this next guy is. He's this is probably another one of the smile fruit guys, but I don't recognize him specifically. Next we have Bellamy the hyena, who has the spring fruit, or whatever it's actually called. He's able to turn his body parts into springs, which can power up his punches. It can like allow him to launch himself. There's maneuverability practicality in quite a few of these, but it's also a very violent maneuverability to where it's just like he launches himself. It's not as controllable, and that's what kind of brings it down a little bit. And otherwise, there's not really a lot of use for it outside of that. So I think I'll put him at the bottom of C tier for now, just because it does have that lack of control. If it had more control, the maneuverability would be higher, but it's like it's actively not very controllable. Bello Betty has the ability to basically awaken people's spirits and make them like more courageous and more determined in their beliefs and everything, which could, be used obviously well for her position as a member of the Revolutionary Army, rallying forces and stuff, and can have some practicality, unfortunately, in today's world, considering the kind of shit that's going down in especially America. It would be good for this specific kind of circumstance, though. Outside of like that kind of circumstance, it's not useful for anything else, really. And honestly, there is kind of the question of if it does like affect someone's free will to a degree. If it does like because it kind of makes a person act against what their nature normally would tell them to. So there is kind of that question. I think I think I'll put this at the bottom of B tier just because of its current usefulness in the world today. Bentham's ability is to be able to perfectly imitate the physical form of anyone he's ever touched. By touching his face with one hand, he can imitate the form completely and remove it with the other hand. However, while in that form, he does not gain like any kind of devil fruit abilities of them. He does not gain like any kind of like physical abilities of them. And he loses his natural physical abilities based on his body, based on how his body is specifically honed. So it basically just gives you a physical look that is entirely cosmetic. And apparently he can mix and match to a degree, but we've never seen that like used in any like really like notable way. It's not a terrible concept, but the problem is like what hugely practical use would it have? I mean, I guess the effects are pretty much permanent until he like touches his face with his other hand, right? So it's like there's the idea of like if he mixed and matched enough, or I guess if I as a user mixed and matched enough, I could conceivably like create an entirely original look for myself that would be better than I guess my real appearance. It's like you could definitely like adjust yourself, but the problem is you can only mix and match with again features from people whose faces you've touched. So it's like you got to kind of be weird or ask for permission to touch someone's faces, which is also kind of weird. So it has a notable drawback there. And honestly, disguising yourself like that outside of like some body dysmorphia issues being resolved, it wouldn't really have too much of a practical use. I'm going to put him in C tier, and I'm going to put him under Baby 5 and above Bellamy. I don't remember your name, but you have like this, I think it's a honeybee or something like that. It's kind of like the smile fruits and stuff. It's like, it gives you flight and stuff, but that's the only real positive to it. I'm going to put you under Batman because it's like it's not really that practical. I think that this guy is from the filler arc with Barto after Dressrosa. I think this is the guy who can like basically work molten metals in his body and stuff, which is really not practical at all. I'm going to put you in D tier. I don't remember this guy offhand. Like, again, a lot of these don't remembers. I know their faces, but that's about it. Like, this guy as well, it's like, I know his face, but I can't place, like, who he is. Okay, so Black Maria is the spider. She has, like, spider webs and has a giant, like, half spider form. Not practical. It's just, there's, like, practically, funny enough wording, no practicality there. F tier. Honestly, F tier. I don't know this guy's name offhand, but I know his devil fruit ability. He has these these pocket dimensions that he can access in his body, these hammer spaces, to be able to hide anything in. Basically, his body contains bags of holding. And that is actually super useful. Because provided, and based on what we've seen, that he can put in anything and take out whatever he needs at any point, just based on his thoughts. He doesn't have to look for anything. He could just pull out whatever he needs at any point. That's super useful. Provided he remembers everything that he puts in there. I feel like if you don't remember what you're looking for and don't know what you're grabbing, that's an issue, but it's like, that's actually, I think that's an A tier. Because the only downside is, like, if you do need to remember everything you put in there, and so it's like, if you don't have, like, a list in your head, you're gonna maybe lose something, so that could be an issue. But otherwise, the storage capabilities are just, like, great. Blue Nose Door Fruit allows him to create doors in just the world. Allows him to create doors from any surface. It can help with maneuverability because he can get across gaps with ease just by creating doors. It's like there's not an issue with like distance and everything. It's like he can cross distances in an instant. It's another one that's super maneuverable. And again, he can create doors in any surface he touches as well. So it's like it's just super practical in so many ways. Especially the being able to cross distances. So I'm going to put that in A tier as well. I do not recognize this next guy, so we're going to put him down there. But then we have the Boa sisters. Hancock is being able to turn anybody into stone, provided, I think it is required that they find her attractive. I think that's a requirement for the power, which is very interesting as well, in case anybody else had the power. Would it work on everybody else? And then Sandersonia and Marigold both are able to turn into serpents. None of them are super practical. I don't really see the practicality in any of these devil fruits. And so they're going to all be low. As much as I like snakes, it's like there's not really practicality here whatsoever. These are all going to go in F tier, I think. And I think I'm going to put the statuification, the petrification above, just because it, I guess, could be used for some cases, but very, almost nothing. Kizaru's devil fruit is light. He's able to turn himself into light, control light, etc., etc. Which includes, as we've seen in the series, a lot of maneuverability. And so that's going to involve like light speed travel, which is very, very good. Because as I've stated, like as I've made clear, maneuverability devil fruits are very practical and would be a good one to have. So outside of the stuff that I wouldn't really use his devil fruit for, the actual maneuverability stuff is definitely makes it an A tier. But I'm gonna put him at the bottom of A tier for now, just because there's a lot of stuff in there that's not really necessary. This next guy I don't entirely recognize. Actually, I think I maybe know who you are, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, I recognize their faces, but not like exactly who they are and what their devil fruits are. Brooke's devil fruit is coming back from the dead. Presumably it can only be done once, though. So it's like once you've used the devil fruit, it's done. You basically get one extra life. And if your soul can't find your body after death, then that's also a problem too, because then you'll become like Brooke. Though I guess that comes with some bonuses too, because it's kind of made him invulnerable to a lot of things. But I mean, it would also be like not very practical for a talking skeleton to be walking around. The problem is the downsides with devil fruits in general, like losing the ability to swim and everything, would be devastating. It would be absolutely devastating. And with his ability only working presumably once, it's like, yeah, you would get out of death once, but it's like, that doesn't make you immortal. It's really not that practical, all things considered. I'll put it at the top of D tier, but that's about it. Charlotte Brule has the ability to create a mirror dimension that connects through all the different reflective surfaces in the world. However, travel between them is not instantaneous. When you go into the mirror dimension, you have to find the other mirrors that you would want. If you're looking for a specific mirror in a specific place, you would have to find where that mirror is. So that's a problem. And even like looking out through the mirrors, if someone is like using the mirror at the moment, they will be able to see you and stuff like that. It's like it sounds like it'd be more practical than it actually is. I would say this is a lower C tier. I'll put it above Bellamy. Buffalo has the ability of flight, and I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all Buffalo can do. Flight is good, but there could be better. I'm gonna put him in B tier because flight does give good maneuverability, but I can't put him higher. Buggy's ability, the Chop Chop fruit, actually does have some good practicality to it. If for no other reason than like you can like maneuver yourself in ways to travel distances. You can have your hand, for example, travel long distances to grab something if you can't reach something. There's a lot of practical uses for something like that. It's kind of the same as when we'll get into Luffy, with the stretching and everything. It allows for just some practical, like, closing the gap in terms of how normal human limits are with how far you can reach. So there's definitely some practical use to Buggy's Devil Fruit. And honestly, not a huge amount of downsides. I think Buggy has to be A tier, honestly. I know this little Tanuki guy. I don't know the name. And I don't know like what the actual devil fruit is. Also, sorry for like messing this up. Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. I accidentally, instead of dragging the cursor down, I was accidentally dragging the entire window, which sucks, but, you know. Let me see if I can adjust this here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, this little dude down here, I don't remember the devil fruit specifically, so. Also, I'm seeing that this video so far has already been 40 minutes long. We're gonna have to definitely cut this into parts. Um, I think I'm going to end this pretty soon. I'm trying to think of a good place. Maybe we'll finish the C's. So Big Mom is Charlotte Linlin. Crocodile. Okay, I know that's Daifuku. Or is that Daifuku? One of those two is Daifuku. Maybe they're both Daifuku. One of them I think might be Daifugu. Their names are so similar. I don't recognize you offhand. I'm just going to put you there ahead of time just to make it easier. So Crocodile is going to be the last one we do. Now, I don't remember you offhand. I don't recognize that. That's actually one I don't recognize. It's like some dog thing. I don't think I recognize you either. This is one of the ones that have like contact with the flying squirrel one, but I don't know like is the devil fruit thing supposed to be like the communication? I don't know. I'm also gonna just take you off because I don't recognize you at all. And so the rest of these we should be good on. So Caesar Clown controls and can manipulate gas at will. I don't see the use for this. I just don't feel like there's any real practicality to that. So I'm gonna put you in F tier. Capone Veggie is able to have his body act as a fortress, a castle. And people and items and stuff can go inside it. They shrink down and go inside it. He can even create like an avatar of himself inside the castle to talk to people inside. There's a certain practicality to it, but it's not going to be like super high up. I think I'd put that at the top of C tier. There could definitely be a practicality in there for like holding meetings or stuff like that, but generally speaking, I don't think there'd be like the biggest practicality. Caribou's ability is to control mud, and it can be used for also controlling or not controlling, but holding stuff. It acts like a bag of holding as well. The bag of holding aspect does bring up the practicality. The muddiness and everything is kind of gross, but I guess it can be controlled and like restricted perfectly. Honestly, the bag of holding aspect does give it quite a lot of points. I'm gonna put him in B tier. I know that might sound weird, but it's like this isn't a ranking of like the characters or like that. It's not even how well the characters use the fruits. It's how well the fruits could be used. Katerina Devon is another one like Bon Clay where she can disguise herself as other people. She has like it's a mythical Zoan and it's a Kyubi, I believe, where she can like transform into people. I don't know like the full like restrictions and everything of that for her fruit though. I don't think it's said. But it's kind of like Bon Clay's where it's just like there's some practicality to it, and this one doesn't seem to have the issue of touching people's faces, so it's more practical. But it's still like, how do you really use that a lot for anything like great? I'm gonna put it above Baby 5. So it's not that high above Bentham, but still. Chaka can turn into a Anubis. It's a Zoan one that allows him. It's not even one of the cool Zoans that allows him like some kind of special ability or increased or like that far increased of like physical ability. it's very, it's a D tier. Honestly, it's a D tier. I'll put it there. Big Mom's ability is to take and manipulate souls. She can do this with pieces of her own soul. She can do it with pieces of other people's soul. She can take pieces of people's lifespans through this. There is not like any real practical use for this. There's just not. In real world practicality, it's pointless. And honestly is entirely villainous. So F tier, honestly. And I think that's a lower F tier too. The cheetah guy, I don't actually. Do we actually know that his powers come from a devil fruit? I actually am not sure if we know if his powers come from a devil fruit. I don't think that's confirmed. All we know is that. Oh, no, we definitely do. Because he does actually turn into like a full cheetah form. He does actually turn into a full cheetah form. Okay. So that gives you increased speed and what's it called? I want to say durability, but I know it's not durability. He can go for longer. I don't know how else to describe it. I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean. He's it's definitely practical to a degree, but I feel like if it like does make you look like a cheetah at all times like this, there is that aspect that'll bring it down to a C for me. Charlotte Cracker, you can create and manipulate biscuits, cookies and whatnot in any form or fashion you want. Or actually, no, I think it's actually just like cracker biscuits. Hence his name. It's like it's only one kind. There's no flavors he can do, but he can shape them and mold them into like people and stuff. Make physical living embodiments of them. Um it's not, I mean, I guess it can help with feeding people who are hungry. That's about it, which is good. But it's like it's not going to be great food. It's just going to be survival food, which is good and helps. But other than that, there's not a lot of practicality. I'll give it a C. I'll give a C tier specifically for that factor. And the last one we're going to end on today is Crocodile, who has the power to control and manipulate and turn into sand, which also for some reason gives him the ability to absorb moisture from people. I guess because sand naturally does that. So I don't see really any practicality to this outside of just like, I guess you could turn yourself into sand and like blow through the winds and stuff. You'll still be able to control yourself. But it's like what I don't know. It's not as practical as other maneuverability things, and honestly, I feel like there's just better devil fruits in every regard in terms of practicality. So I think I can only put Crocodile in C tier. And I think I'm going to put him above Katarina Devon. Just in terms of practicality. Now, that is where we're going to end for today. I don't know when we're going to get the next part up at this point. I was originally planning to do this all in one go, but then I saw how long this was taking. We only got through the C's. The fact that we only got through the C's and we were already like almost an hour in is insane. It just proves that this is going to be multiple parts and that there's going to be a lot more to it than I initially planned for. I'm going to try to get up at least one more part this week. But this is just going to be something that's going to be ongoing. So we'll see. Stay tuned for the next part. I don't know how far we'll get into that one. It just depends on how quick we go through it. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on any of the devil fruits we've talked about down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all at the next part.